Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's Nicolex here, and today I want to do something a little bit different. But before I go ahead and get into the whole point of this video, I thought I'd talk about the recent Chapter 21 leaks that have come out and whatnot. So I'm probably wrong. People are saying that it's more than likely Pinhead. If so, that's awesome. Like I said, a license is always good for a game in general. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, look at Fortnite. They're getting ridiculous amounts of licensed content that they probably shouldn't even have, but they do for whatever reason. Well, mainly because they're making money. That's why. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, it's more than likely going to be Pinhead, but it's not confirmed, and all these teasers and leaks, well, proposed teasers, they're not even actually technically teasers for sure. They could all be wrong, and I could be right 100%, but more than likely I think it is probably Pinhead. The arguments are strong for it, and they kind of make sense, but we will see. Yeah. But anyway, so the point of this video is that I kind of wanted to do my own little fan chapter for Chucky in case it was right, which we don't know about that yet, but I already spent a whole lot of time on it, thinking about it and thinking about doing different things, and I thought it was interesting. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So this Reddit user here, Mappersoon, they have a really good idea for Chucky, and I actually took quite a bit from them, so I wanted to give them credit. Most of the chapters are the same, saying that he can crawl under pallets, saying that that he should be able to hide in chests and lockers. I personally don't like that, so that's what I took out. Another good thing that they said here is that there would be 5 Chucky dolls around the map, and they would be able to teleport to each one, kind of like Freddy or Freddy? Oh, or Demogorgon, depending on where they're set up. But I took not necessarily that, but I kind of went that way a little bit. But anyway, without any further ado, let's get into it. So I guess I'll go ahead and start with the lobby, like in the lobby animations. So I'm also adding in Charles Lee Ray here because I think it'd be an interesting dynamic. But I would like to add Charles Lee Ray in, and he'd be holding Chucky. And the cool thing that I think would be like really cool is while you're waiting for like a game, or you're picking your loadout, whatever, is him and Chucky just kind of like going back and forth and just arguing with each other. I think that'd be really interesting. So the power is going to be very confusing, but I'm going to try to explain it best as possible, and I will kind of say it in how in my mind it would work. But take into account this is nothing like, I'm not really looking too much at balance here. I'm not looking at anything like that. Also, some of this would obviously have to be changed because I don't know how easily the devs would be able to make this work. So none of that is taken into account. This is just off the top of my head what I came up with and what I think would be really cool. So you'd start the trial as Charles Lee Ray, and then while playing him, you can't attack, but you can like break pallets. And well, there's only 2 things you can do. You can break pallets, and you can possess a doll. Now, there is going to be 5 good guy doll boxes around the map, probably 4 on the outskirts, and then like 1 more centralized, just to make it a lot more understandable than that. I don't know how this would work on like the game or something like that. I'm not really too sure how it would work, but something like that is how I would do it. But I'm messing stuff up right now. Okay. So yeah, and then after a brief animation of him possessing the doll, like in the movie, personally is how I would do it, you'll then take control of Chucky, and he'll jump out of the box. And what you could do is you could also make him say like a line. so it'd be, you know, a little bit cooler when he comes out of the box, because Chucky's a very vocal killer. Like, he's not like reserved at all. He's very vocal. So I think you would have to add like lines for him to, like, you know, say and do stuff. I think it'd be pretty cool. Obviously, his view is going to be very similar to Victor, probably Victor's height, and then obviously just add like his hands or a knife or something. I think that would be the most obvious part of that. So kind of like the Legion, I would make Chucky be able to like roll underneath the pallets. And then obviously you would have to take into account a survivor's, you know, jumping back and forth, because it's the same thing. You know, I think it'd be interesting, but yeah, they would have to work on that for sure. But I would definitely make him be able to roll underneath pallets, because it doesn't make sense with him breaking pallets, which is why I made Charles Lee Ray be the one to be able to break pallets. But I'm going to continue on, because you're probably thinking like, okay, well, what about the rest of it? So he would also have like a launch ability, kind of like Victor or Demogorgon. Preferably more like Demo, because I feel like Victor's just takes too long to use. But definitely I would think something like Demo. But anyway, so you would have the launch ability. You would launch onto somebody's back. And then while you're on the survivor's back, you're both going to have skill checks. And this is what I took from Mappersoon, I think was the name. This is what I took from them. You both have skill checks. And while the skill checks are going, whoever loses first gets the penalty. So, for instance, if Chucky were to lose and miss a skill check, then he would get knocked off. The survivor would not lose a health state, and he would have a brief stun. Probably like, I'd say like a good 3 or 4. No, probably like 6 or 8 seconds, depending on what it is. Personally, it'd be kind of heavily. But on the other side, if the survivor misses the skill check, then they will lose a health state. Chucky will stab him in the neck, and then they'll knock him off. And it's essentially the same thing like Victor. You get attached, health state, and then if the next time if they're injured, they go down. So it's the same exact thing, just like that. So once the survivor gets down, what you can do is, and this is where it's going to get super confusing. So once they get down, what Chucky can do is he can possess the survivor. The survivor will then go in the box like Chucky is right there, but it'll be the survivor. And then Chucky will basically take over the survivor's body, and then they will act as a regular killer. So they can sneak up to people. It'd probably be like no terror radius, because it would be easier to sneak up, but they'd be holding a knife. You could visibly see that there's obviously something different, and like probably like the walk or something. But yeah, so the Chucky would now be in the survivor's body, and you know, you'd be able to sneak up on people, whatnot, and they can hook, they can break pallets, just everything a normal killer can do is what they can do. The only difference is once the survivor gets saved from the box, Chucky's soul will go back into Charles Lee Ray, and then you repeat the whole process again. So I know that was a lot that I just said, so I'm gonna try to dumb it down a little bit and make it more easier to understand. I'm sorry, dumb down is kind of a rude way of saying it. Let me break it down a little bit so it's more understandable. So, you start out as Charles Lee Ray. You find a good guy doll box, possess Chucky, or possess the doll, become Chucky. Then Chucky will go around the map, find a survivor, attach, then whatever the event is, whatever the result is, he gets knocked off. They either lose a health state or don't. Chucky continues the chase. If they did lose a health state and whoever's injured, once he downs them, he can then possess them. Their body will go into the box, kind of like a, what is that, a Cage of Torment, like Pyramid Head does. but it'll be right where you stopped, like right where you stopped. Um, Obviously, there would have to be something in place of making sure that they don't camp it, I guess. But I mean, again, I'm not thinking about things like that. I'm just thinking of how I would like to see it be implemented. I think it'd be cool that way. But anyway, so they would go in the box. Chucky would take over their body, have no terror radius, and would be able to go and do everything a regular killer can. Once the survivor gets saved from the box, Chucky's soul will go back into Charles Lee Ray. Well, I guess that's his soul, but you understand the point. His soul would go back into his human body, Charles Lee Ray, and then you would have to find another good guy doll box and do the same thing over again. And this could also be terrible. It could also be terrible. I don't know. So the perks. I have friends till the end. You bonded with your last victim. When survivors are within 20 meters of the hooked survivor, while you are more than 40 meters away, their auras are revealed. Kind of like a reverse barbecue and chili, mixed with like territorial imperative. That's personally, I thought it'd be pretty cool and interesting. And it kind of helps with, in my mind, it kind of helps with Chucky's playstyle of how you would play him, personally. The next one is good guys finish last. After last gen pops, all generators except one that was completed last immediately regressed to 99%. The four, you know how it says like 5 gens on the top? It'll be 4 gens remaining on the HUD. This is kind of like an in-game perk. It's not super overpowered, but it is kind of like, oh shit kind of thing, I think it would be pretty cool. Now this is like the one that I'm kind of just going off the rails and I'm just throwing something on here. Kind of cool, but also kind of weird. Okay, let's play. Grants the ability to carry 2 survivors at once. While carrying 1 survivor, the wiggle bar takes 50% longer to fill. While holding 2 survivors, it will take 75% longer. Okay, sorry. It'll take 75% longer to fill. And then when 1 survivor is hooked, you reduce the other carried survivor's wiggle bar by 25%. So, essentially, if you're carrying 1, it takes 50% longer, kind of like an iron grasp. If you pick up another survivor, then both of them will take 75% longer to get there. If you are able to hook 1 survivor, then it will take the other survivor's wiggle bar down by 25%. I don't know, I just thought it would be cool to carry 2 survivors, especially in those instances where you'll knock down 1 person and then you'll knock down another, and then you have to carry 1, put him on a hook, and then you have to go back, and then you know what I'm saying. Like when you're slugging, it just seems more efficient to do it that way. But I know some people hate slugging and everything like that, so I understand. The Mori is as follows. So the survivor's going to be looking around, left, right, everywhere. In the background, I would have like the camera angle like this way. So you'd see Chucky run in the background one way, survivor looks that way, runs the other way, look that way. And then I'd have a jump scare as he flies onto the survivor's screen, and then he'll just stab them to death until they're dead, obviously. Yeah, that's how I do it. Some of the important add-ons I would put in is Charles Amulet. So you would increase the number of good guy boxes around the map. So instead of it'd be 5, you could do like 6 or 7 or 8, something like that. Could even go a little overpowered because these are like, I'm talking these are ultra rares. So you could do like 10 or something like that. Something fucking ridiculous. But yeah, that's personally what I do. And then Bloodstained Toy Box. It grants Charles Lee Ray the ability to attack. So in that instance, then yes, you could attack then. But yeah, so that was my Child's Play chapter, fan chapter that I came up with in my head. Took actually quite a while, and I had to actually like think about things very like in detail. But yeah, who knows? Chucky could be next. He could not be. He could never come in. Who knows? But yeah, that's all I got for you guys. If you guys enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you guys think. hit the bell, and yeah, as always, there'll be more on the way. Thanks for watching. Bye.